Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my Immigrant Diary. My name is Wale.
And my name is Precious.
Today we're going to be talking about the process after you get your marriage visa. So there are generally like two types of marriage visa. One is for when you've already been married for more than 2 years, and one is for when you have been married for less than 2 years. We are not going to be making much distinction between both of them because the processes are very similar. But if there's a difference, we'll let you know.
If you would like to see the video we made about the differences and process, you can click the link in the description and watch that video. But for this video, we just want to talk about steps you should take after the issuance of your visa. The two visas are IR1 and CR1. IR1 category are for those who have been married for more than 2 years, and CR1 category are for those who have been married for less than 2 years. I qualified for IR1 and Wale qualified for CR1. And so we just want to talk about what happens after the issuance of your visa, steps you should take. One, because I filed from Nigeria, which is very common with most Africa, West Africa, I think Asia applicants, when the IR1 visa has been issued, the next thing is to pay for your green card. My advice will be pay before you leave for the US. Not because you cannot get it when you get to the US, but just so that you want to increase the smooth transition for yourself. Like you want to have one less thing to worry about when you get to the US or when you're on your way to the US or stuff like that. Although the IR1 visa is valid for 1 year, my advice is pay for your visa before leaving the US and also pay for your Social Security card. Now, for Wale, it's slightly different, right? For
my process. So I think it's just because I have a different location. That's the biggest thing. That's one of the factors. The other factor is also that like the process with which I applied is also very different. It's more or less like a fast track process. So for me, I was able to pay for my green card and apply for my Social Security right when I was applying for the CR1 visa. So, and that's something I didn't even have to worry about it much. I just did that and that was it.
Wale, I find that interesting. It's almost like a guarantee. If you are asked to pay for your green card along with your Social Security and your visa fee for the CR1 marriage-based visa, right? It feels like a guarantee. Would you think because you're in Europe? I mean, I don't want to say anything that I'm not certain. I don't have the facts. My process is quite different from Wale's, but like I said, pay for the green card before you leave for the US because the smooth transition as for you as you settle in the US. And so when you land in the US, what happens next? Typically, you would get your Social Security card in the mail first. That will come within 2 to 3 weeks of your entry into the US, and the green card will arrive within 4 to 5 weeks of your entry into the US. Note, with your Social Security card in hand and your IR1 visa, which is your 1 year temporal residency, you can actually get out there and try to get a job and just try to get things going. You can, what we will advise in our opinion is as soon as you get your Social Security card, try to open a bank account because Social Security number is also required to open a bank account for most banks. So with that, with your visa in hand, open a bank account, which is what I did because I came in and I tried to open an account immediately, but I was told I needed those documents. Another thing you will need is proof of residency. If you're depending on your residency situation, you can get your name on the bill. You just need a proof to show that you live in that residence. You can get an informed delivery email. We talked about that in one of our old videos. You can get an informed delivery mail from the post office, which you can take along with other documents to the bank to open a bank account. Wale, how was it to open a bank account for you? Was there any difficulty with using your visa?
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit difficult. I had my Social Security, but I couldn't open a bank account immediately because I thought I could use my passport. Unfortunately, that was not accepted. They needed an ID that was issued by the US government. So I had a little bit of a different plan. I was planning to get my driver's license as soon as possible anyway. So I decided that I'm going to use my driver's license to get my bank account open. But my green card came before I get my driver's license. So I just used my green card to open account. So, but like, you don't have to do that. If you come immediately, you can easily just apply for a state ID. In Washington here, it costs like $70 or so, which is more or less the same thing for driver's license. And that's something that will fast track your process. Again, you have to look at your situation, look at what is appropriate to you. But the main things you are going to be needing, most likely the main documents if we're going to start working, the tools rather, is a bank account. So of course you need your social security number for that, and you need an ID. So if you apply for your social security from wherever you're traveling from, it will arrive in a few weeks. You know you're going to get it in a few weeks. You apply for an ID when you get here. Once you get those two, you can then immediately apply for a bank account, or you use your information on the name of your bill, depending on the banks that accept those kind of identification document. Of course, you can find like a lot of options here. So you go to a specific bank, and then once you get your bank account sorted, that's where you're going to be getting paid from your employer.
Thank you, Ali. And also, this is just our journey we're sharing. After that, if you want to get a credit card, get a Discover credit card. It will help build your credit points, especially when you just move into the US. That's one of the best cards you can get to begin to build credit points, to be able to build your credit score, so that you can able to take advantage of the credit system in building wealth here in America. And finally, one thing that you should note is for the marriage-based IR1 visa, after 3 years you qualify for US citizenship, US passport. But I think for Sarah and Wale, how is that different?
Yeah, so for you, when you were issued your visa, you got like 1 year. For me, I got 6 months. So, but It didn't really matter anyway, because I was going to get the green card. So that's one major difference that people should keep in mind. That's like, we have to be prepared to travel in 6 months for CR1. The other thing also is that like my green card expires in 2 years, and for you it's like 10 years if I understand correctly.
Yes.
So
correct.
Those are the very, very important dates, because like 2 years goes by really, really fast. At the end of 2 years, you have to apply for condition removal for CR1. Basically, it means that like now that you're beyond 2 years old as a couple, you'll be qualified to apply for like a 10-year green card. So, but regardless whether you spend up to that 10 years or not, or whether you get the green card or not, both categories qualify to be able to apply for US citizenship after 3 years. And for me, when you apply to remove the condition, one of the things from what I found in my research, I would say average of 12 months for the whole process to be completed. So there's a process to you applying, then you have to go and do your biometrics. Then after your biometrics, you have to wait for a while. If possible, they can either ask you to come for an interview or just issue you the green card directly. Regardless, it can take up to 12 months, an average of 12 months. Some states a little bit less, some states a little bit more, depending on the location where your document is being processed and the backlog that they have at that location. But meanwhile, while they are processing your document, they are going to issue you a document that is very similar to this, sort of has this headline. But basically what the document is saying is that because you have applied and they are processing your document, your green card or residence permit has been automatically extended beyond the 2 years is going to expire. So in my case, it was automatically extended for 4 years. I think that's the standard for everyone. And of course, that means that like before you get to that time, you can apply for citizenship and you don't have to worry about green card any longer.
All right, Wale, thank you for sharing that. That's so perfect. So now you know the process for IR1 and CR1 when you get your visa issuance. Thank you everyone for following us. Please like, subscribe, share our videos and support our channel. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one, everyone. Bye.